Hello, welcome to Prequel, Sequel, Requel, the show where we pick a film or a franchise and give it a prequel, a sequel, and a requel with a panel of comedians and movie lovers. I'm going to call them that this evening. The film of tonight is Three Amigos. I'm so excited I can hardly speak. 1986, directed by John Landis, starring Chevy Chase, Steve Martin, Martin Short. The gang's all here. I can't wait to do this one. It's going to be epic. If you're watching live on Facebook or YouTube, welcome. And also, this is part of the PBH Free Fringe. So if you're up at the Edinburgh Festival or you're watching online, welcome. We're going to crack straight on though. Let's get our first panelist out this evening. Now, what can I say about this first young lady this evening? She's a singer, a comedian, a writer, a dancer. She does it all. She's also our guest wrangler. I'm going to call her that from now on. It's the lovely Hannah Warman.
Yay!
Hello. You're right.
I love it that you always say I'm a dancer because I actually am a terrible dancer.
Hey, no, but hey, you feel dancing in there, don't you? Right in there. Yeah, so if you can get on that.
In.
Yes, not without. I don't know what that means. We'll keep going. Are you all right?
Yeah. I did rewatch Three Amigos, and it was just as funny as it always was.
Oh, there's some great lines in there. I'm sure we'll talk about all this once we get on with the show. But it's cracking. Love it.
Yeah,
Singing
great.
bush and all that. Brilliant. Anyway, speaking of should be coming round the mountain, because that's what the singing bush sings. I'm going to bring our next panelist out. Let's do terrible intros for it. But what can I say about our next guest? Improviser extraordinaire, character comedian. Yeah, I know. We're going to just bring her out. It's Natalie Smeaton.
Why, hello. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I think you were doing all right with the singing bush bit, but I don't have a singing bush. So there is a singing bush.
That's not what I've heard.
She'll be coming round the mountain with chickens.
It depends what mood you catch me in, really, I suppose.
Right, okay. I'm trying to think of another link now. We're going to summon the invisible swordsman. Does that work? I don't know. It's all stuff out of the movie, so it's fine. Let's bring our next lovely special guest out. Now, this young man here what a CV. We've got actor, comedian, writer, singer. Does it all, this guy. It's the wonderful Nick Helm.
Hello.
And a massive Three Amigos fan as well to boot.
Yeah, I'm a Three Amigos fan, sure. Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Embrace it.
I am.
Embrace it.
I am. It's good. Yeah, I like it. It's good.
Good. Excellent. Thank you for joining us, Nick. Very nice of you to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Right. So before we crack on, I'll just for those who are watching who haven't seen the show before, very quickly, our lovely panel here, they're going to pitch a prequel, a sequel, and a requel to the Three Amigos. They get a minute or so to do it. We're not too strict on the time. And then they can ask each other a question to put each other's pitch, under fire, basically, and see if there's any plot holes in it or not. So we'll get on with that in a minute. But I always like to do this at the start of the show. If you've not seen Three Amigos for a while, I'm going to read the back of the DVD box from back in the day. This is how they sold you the film, just for a quick recap. You ready for this one? Good. Yes. That's a yes. Right, okay, the DVD box. When a small Mexican village is terrorized by a notorious outlaw, a desperate senorita calls upon the only heroes she knows, the legendary Three Amigos. Known by all as fearless freedom fighters, these courageous cowboys are really just film stars, and the only fighting they've ever done is on a movie set. But when the outlaws attack, the Amigos discover that the banditos and their bullets are all too real. Now the trio must save the village and become true heroes or hang up their spurs in shame forever. There we go. The Three Amigos. Lovely. Okay, so we're gonna crack straight on with this. Everybody ready to start with the prequels this evening?
Yes.
I'm excited.
Excellent.
Sure.
Yeah. Get our banner up there, right? Lovely. Okay, so we'll go with Hannah first. We'll start with you for your prequel. If you'd like to pitch, I'll make some notes as we go, just so we can do some recaps as well.
Okay, prequel. Lucky Day, Dusty Bottoms, and Ned Nedlander are teenagers in high school. It's the 80s, the 1880s, and the three friends have been put in Saturday detention, along with a pretty redhead cheerleader, a weird outsider with dandruff, a jock, and a bad boy. The teacher tells them to write about who they want to be when they're older. All three of the teenage amigos know that they want to become Hollywood actors. So with the teacher gone, when the bad boy tries to stab the teenage amigos, they think he's acting out a play. They fight back with the power of song and dance, and that confuses the bad boy. So he drops his knife and runs away to Mexico, changing his name to El Guapo.
Ah.
Whoa.
Oh, chills.
Straight away, revelations. So,
Yeah.
right then. So, Nick and Nat, you can ask Hannah a question of your choice. Anything you'd like to know about her plot, cast, directors, anything? Go on, Nick.
What's it called? What have you called it?
It's just called Teenage Three Amigos Ninjas.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And okay, right. So when was it made? Like, so what? Three Amigos was made in 1986, right? So
Yeah.
the only thing that I can think of in terms of how this, so you got like Dumb and Dumber, and then they made what was the prequel to Dumb and Dumber called?
Oh, yeah.
Dumb and Dumberer.
Yeah.
And then you had Dumb and Dumber 2 when they realised that the prequel didn't work, and they went back to the original actors, right? So have you got like, so Martin Short made this film. What was the film that he made when he was like a little boy? It was really weird.
I know the one you mean. Yeah.
We're gonna have to Google it.
It was a name on it. Was it the name of the kid, wasn't it?
I'll talk while somebody
I'll
Googles
Google.
it, right?
I'll
But
Google.
so
That's
Martin
fast on the Google.
Short made a film where he played like a 12-year-old boy, and it had Charles Grodin in it, right? So Martin Short has played like a younger version of himself before.
Was it
So-
Clifford?
Clifford, is it? Yes, Clifford, right? So are all of so was it made in like 1987, 1988? And you've got like peak Chevy Chase, Steve Martin, and Martin Short, and they're all playing young versions of themselves, like wearing shorts and stuff, and it's really weird. Or have you recast it like they did in Dumb and Dumberer with some people that looked a bit like them and they're younger?
I think because they're such good actors and the whole Three Amigos is pretty surreal anyway, I'm going to cast the original actors and they're going to play teenage boys.
You got Steve Martin with big black eyebrows and white hair as like a 10-year-old.
Yeah,
I
totally.
like that.
Except they're meant to be like 14.
14, sure. Okay. I love
Right.
it.
Okay.
So
Cool.
it's easy for him to get away with being 14 with the grey hair.
Yeah.
Who's directed it?
I want it to be in the style of the Brat Pack films. But the guy who did that is dead. So
But it'd be nice to-
It's fantasy cast. You can have anybody you want direct it. Really, it's fantasy in it. It's not,
okay, so is it John Hughes that did the Breakfast Club? Yeah, so John Hughes directs it and makes it like an 80s film, but it's 1880s.
Okay.
That's great. And it's like an 80s film, only all of the conventions that you have from an 80s film is like 1880s.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Clever,
really
huh?
good. I think it is really clever. Although I think some of the cleverness has occurred to you while you've been talking.
Oh, that happens on the show all the time. There's some sly things happen on the show.
How dare you?
Have you got Nat? Have you got a question?
I do. And my question is quite different. You mentioned that there's a jock in this, but what is the 1880s equivalent of a jock?
Oh.
Because right now, it's like American high school football player goes out with a cheerleader, quite mean, like that type of thing. So what is the 1880s equivalent of a jock?
I think that they probably had like American football in the 1880s. So it's still going to be someone like that, but they're just going to have a moustache and be a bit old-fashioned-y, talk a bit clipped.
Right.
But other than that, they're just going to
Okay.
be just like the 80s teens, the kind of
Okay.
stereotypes.
All right. That's all I needed to know. I'm
Okay.
good. Yeah, I'm good.
Good questions there. Right then. Lovely. Let's move on then. Nat, it's your turn for your prequel,
Yeah.
please.
Okay.
Okay.
So mine is called A Sword in the Bush. Here we go.
Steady.
It's the golden age of science. Men and women are trying hundreds of new things. two such scientists are in a lab in the Nevada desert when one of them decides to make the perfect soldier, one that can think fast, regrow their limbs, and create seeds to grow new super soldiers. It's a perfect plan, so they decide to try a variety of different shrubs with varying results. Some can't be soldiers because they're being chased by bees because of their lovely flowers. Some just want to stay where they are and take root. Others look like a bush but won't stop singing or ever shut up. The military decides to pull their budget, but not before they have one last go. It goes so horribly wrong that one of them simply becomes invisible, and the military decide to destroy their work. The invisible scientist escapes with his singing friend because he doesn't want to be burned in an inferno, and they end up in Mexico, deciding to help lost travelers find their way in the desert.
Wow. Okay, very nice. Yeah,
That's really good.
right. Wow. So, Nick and Hannah, you can ask Nat a question. Is there anything you want to know about that one?
Yeah. So the three. I'm also, and I think that both Nat and Hannah's ideas are really great. But on top of that, I'm still worried about my ideas. So I'm sort of might have missed out on some details. So are the Three Amigos in it?
No, because I felt like my requel and my sequel are Three Amigos heavy. So I felt like I needed to give a sort of a voice to some of the more surreal parts of the movie. And essentially, when he reads out the instructions to get to the desert town where El Guapo is, you assume that they've just sent them into the desert to die, because why would there be a singing bush, an invisible man with a flaming sword? It makes no sense. But the fact that they found it made me feel like I needed to give them a backstory. So there will be no Three Amigos in this. It is literally the origin story of the bush and the sword and the invisible man. Right. Yeah.
And are you going to still call it the Three Amigos?
No, I'm just going to call it A Sword in the Bush.
Right.
That's all. And then it's probably going to be quite a small release, a bit indie. It's going to be one of those that gathers a cult following when they realise that it's the requel, like the prequel, to the Three Amigos. Yeah.
Sure, right. But is it going to be, like when M. Night Shyamalan made, what was the one that he made with James McAvoy in it? Was it called Splice?
Yes.
Yeah.
Was it called Splice?
No, it was called
Glass.
Split.
He made
Split.
Split.
Yeah, that was the one.
Split.
Split.
And so you watch the whole of Split, and then at the end there's Bruce Willis out of Unbreakable in it, and so you watch the whole film and you don't realise that it's a prequel to the Three Amigos, and then at the end it's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, like little Easter eggs.
Yeah. And maybe we could have Easter eggs all the way through the film. I hadn't really thought about that, which will hint at what is to come. And maybe the very end of it could be us noticing three shadowy figures approaching on horseback in like a shimmery mirage heat wave. That could potentially be the end. But I don't know whether that would be insulting to the audience, whether they will already have guessed what it is without needing to see the arrival of the three strangers who
Depends
eventually
what audience. Some audiences nowadays need everything spelling out. Even if you said this is a prequel to the Three Amigos, and go, what? But that's good. Any more questions for that then before we move on?
I'm satisfied.
Go on. What did you say, Hannah?
I just said I'm satisfied.
Who's satisfied? Oh.
I'm satisfied.
Well, sure.
No further questions.
Yeah, all right. I am too. Who's in it? Who have you cast in it?
I'm torn, because do I want it to be commercially very successful, but maybe not particularly loved by the critics, and cast somebody like Kevin Hart on The Rock? Or do I want to go more down, if I want to make this like a little indie sort of a project, do I want to sort of maybe look at casting somebody like, I don't know, desperately scratching the back of my head for indie actors. Can't think of any. Just going to say Zac Efron and Mariah Carey. Maybe that would work.
And she can tie in a song as well.
She's the singing bush, so Mariah Carey would eventually become the singing bush, and Zac Efron, the Invisible Man. And what's even sadder about that is he's so buff, nobody will ever see him anymore.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Right. Okay. Cleared up a few things there. Nick, it's your turn, please, for your prequel.
My prequel is called The Two Amigos.
Ooh.
And it is about Lucky Day and Dusty Bottoms going into show business together and starting off on all the vaudeville stages and going town to town and learning their trade and kind of coming up with a really good double act. And they get a really good double act going, and then they get taken to Hollywood by Artie Flugelman, and he makes them into stars. And they start making movies together, and they do really well, and they're like the talk of the town, and they're really sort of famous, and the world is at their feet. And then out of nowhere, once they've been top of the box office for like a few years, out of nowhere, this young kid comes along who can fly planes called Little Neddy Nederlander, and he goes into production. He starts taking all their box office away, and they're like, "Oh my god!" Well, what? So they try and outdo him. He tries to outdo them, and then it all culminates with kind of like the making of Little Neddy Goes to War, where it's this huge production where they're making Little Neddy Goes to War, and Lucky Day and Dusty Bottoms are trying to sort of infiltrate the set and get in. And then at the end, there's kind of like this evil movie producer who tries to who's just basically given Neddy Nederlander a really bad deal, and he's basically taken advantage of him, and they all get together, they overthrow him, and they realize that they're actually not just two amigos but three amigos. And at the end of the film, they put on their cowboy outfits and they make a western together.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah, lovely. Right.
Yes.
Okay. Nat and Hannah, then, questions for Nix?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay, you go, Nat.
Oh, sorry, Hannah. Would you like to go?
No.
Oh, we're so polite.
You're too polite. Fight for it.
Too polite. Okay, yeah, I do have one. I was wondering whether there would be a outdoing each other montage in this movie. Will we see like a moment of 2 or 3 minutes of them playing horrible practical jokes, trying to tank each other's movies, like in a beautiful montage sequence? And if so, what music will be in the background?
Right. Yeah, great question. Well, the film is 88 minutes long, and 85 minutes of it are going to be montage.
Amazing. Amazing.
Leaving 3 minutes. I think there's got to be a moment where Lucky Day and Dusty Bottom fall out, and then you've got these three guys that are all over the place. And the music that they would use would be, obviously, it would be like a Randy Newman song. About like friendship and losing friendship, something really sad, like Jesse's song out of Toy Story 2 that Randy Newman, because Randy Newman wrote that, and he wrote all the songs for Three Amigos, and he wrote everyone thinks that Randy Newman just wrote the songs for Three Amigos, but he wrote the film as well with Steve Martin and Lorne Michaels. So yeah, it would be like largely montages of sad stuff happening as the Three Amigos become enemies and then friends again over Randy Newman songs.
It's a great prequel.
Love it.
Thanks.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, good question there. Hannah, have you got a question?
My only question is similar to what you've asked me, Nick, is that are you thinking of casting younger sort of actors to play the young Three Amigos, or are you going to cast the current actors and they're going to play young?
I think that ideally the Three Amigos would have been a huge success in 1986 or 87, whenever, because it wasn't, and it did well on home video. But if it was a huge success, then they'd greenlight a sequel straight away, and then I think you could have some scenes when they're younger, where they're different actors, but it'll only go towards making you appreciate, Steve Martin and Chevy Chase and Martin Short even more if they're not on screen. So I think you have them in, but then you add in some more stars from the time, And I think Steven Spielberg was originally going to direct it in 1980, and he wanted to have. It was always Steve Martin because Steve Martin wrote it, but he also wanted to have. I think Bill Murray was the name that they had, and Robin Williams was also going to be. It took Steve Martin like 10 years to get it made, and by the time they made it, it was like Chevy Chase and Martin Short. So you could add in sort of like big Saturday Night Live stars at the time, like Eddie Murphy could be in it, and John Candy could be in it.
You add that's it. You've got
the
Chris
Candy
now.
card's been played early. Usually people mention John Candy, and I'm like, I'm in.
Oh right, well he's in. Although it is right at the end of my pitch, and I am the third person, so it's not that early.
No, well, for this show, I guess. Yeah. Right, cool. Okay, let's do some voting then. So we all get a vote each. There's a loose rule about not voting for your own. We'll see how that works out.
But can I just ask, what if yours is actually the best?
You mean, do you want to vote for your own? Is that what you're asking?
I'm not saying about me particularly. I'm just saying if the instance comes up and your idea is the best, are you allowed to vote for yourself?
You can do, yeah. We won't be too harsh.
Well, that's good to know, isn't it, guys?
Yeah. Right. Do you want a quick recap on what's being said, just so we can all vote? Yeah, let's do it. Right. Okay. So Hannah's was our lovely trio, the teenagers in the 1880s. They're at high school. It's kind of a breakfast club vibe, that kind of idea. The same gang of kids are in with them. The bad boy tries to stab the Three Amigos, but he can't do it. Somebody runs off, and he becomes El Guapo. There you go. Nats was called Sword in the Bush. Scientists in the Nevada desert trying to create super soldiers. None of it's working though. They're also dabbling in shrubbery. Sounds like Monty Python. The military pulls the budget, and they end up with an invisible scientist and a shrub breaking away and going off on their own, which leads into the film. Nick's was the Two Amigos, Lucky and Dusty. They're in showbiz, vaudeville, learning the trade as a double act. Flugelman comes along, takes them to Hollywood, makes them into famous film stars. But then this young kid, Ned, comes along and he starts stealing their box office, basically. They're competing against each other. 85 minutes of montage in an 88 minutes film. They're making Little Neddy Goes to War. An evil movie producer turns up. So they decide all to join together to overthrow him. There you go. Right. So let's vote. I'm going to vote for Nick's straight away because
he said John Candy.
Not just because of John Candy, that sweetened the deal at the end, but sometimes I'll vote for ones that I think are quite plausible and they would do it, and that to me, I think they would make that if they did a prequel. I think they'd go for that. To be honest,
I think that too. I think I'm going to have to vote for Nick because that genuinely seems like that could get made or could have got made.
I like the thing you could time with the movie studio as well. Like you said, you could have actors of that time in it, as little cameos or whatever, who were kicking around. So yeah, okay.
I'm genuinely struggling because I was enjoying the Breakfast Club vibe, but I also enjoy an 85-minute montage. So this time I'm going to go for Hannah. I'd quite like to see a Breakfast Club style prequel. I think that would be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Nat.
Okay, cool. All right, Nick, what were you thinking?
I'm going to vote. I think I really like the idea of doing an 80s teenage comedy, but set in the 1880s. I do like that idea, but I also really like the idea of it being kind of like a stealth prequel, and then you're not really knowing until right at the end. And also because it's sort of like the original is sort of a Western, and then you've got kind of like 1930s Universal horror, kind of Invisible Man experiments and stuff like that going on in yours. So I think I'm going to go for Nat.
Whoa!
Thank you.
All right then. Lovely
Thank you
stuff. So,
I mean, obviously, I would vote for myself, right?
you can if you want. If you want to vote for yourself, you can.
No.
To be honest, it won't change the vote.
No,
It'll
I'm
actually.
not going to sit here for another 45 minutes and have everyone thinking I'm a cunt. So I'll vote for Nat, right? But we all know.
What a hero.
We all know what
I'll take your pity vote. It's fine.
No.
Well, you'd have won either way on that round, so you've already had 2 votes.
I've done the maths. I'm fine.
All right. Okay. So, Nick,
dear.
you've took the prequel round. Well done. But don't worry, you guys, because it's still all to play for
All
this
to play
evening, as we
for.
always say.
Oh,
Now, let's rotate the board. There's no board. We're going on to the sequels, so we'll mix it up a bit. First of all, we're going to start with Nat this time for the sequels.
Okay, thank you.
So, whenever you're ready, let's
All right.
crack on.
My sequel is called Amigos: The Next Generation.
Mm.
And here we go. Ned and his friends. Yeah. Whoa. Ned and his friends never returned to Santa Poco. The foxy lady who snogged Ned's face off at the end is sad, as she, after a night of not so quick draw action, is now carrying Ned's child. Thousands of miles away, a German woman is also devastated to discover her husband/pilot is not returning after losing his duel, and so will never meet his unborn baby. Cue the montage of both women raising their children with an extreme regime of training, riding, and quick draw in order to get their revenge. One of them for the death of their father, the other blaming the German pilot for the reason their father never returned. They eventually track each other down and meet in the dusty square of El Guapo's ex-compound after tracking each other and finding each other over years and years. Evenly matched, they draw their guns at exactly the same time, but both are saved as 2 old, grizzled men shoot the guns out of their hands. One of them opens his arms. "Son," says Ned. We fade to black.
Oh. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Right then. Questions, Nick and Hannah. You can ask Nat a question. Go for it.
What's the tone of this? Is this like a comedy like the Three Amigos, or it seems like it might be a bit more
heavy?
Yeah, this is I think I'm going to get Tarantino to direct it.
His final film.
Yeah, it's going to be. I want it to look really slick and cool. I want it to be like a Kill Bill style revenge story. You know, that montage that they have, the amazing montage they have in Kill Bill where she's at Paime's learning with Paime. That's the type of montage you feel I want. Like they're really working hard. Their mums are driving the revenge. You know, I mean, there'd probably be a bit of swearing. A few people are going to get shot along the way. And then at the end, we're going to fade to black as Ned Lander holds out his hands to his son, because that will leave it open for maybe Tarantino to do a sequel if he wants to.
Yes.
We can find out what happens in the next section. But yeah, it's going to be funny in the way that Tarantino's films are funny, which is like ironically and quite cool, not in a like an Amigos way. Yeah.
And you really do like montages, don't you? Because
I love montages. Yeah.
Every time you've spoken, you've said the word montage.
And what I'm hoping is that what Chris will do when we finish filming this is just put together a series of montages.
A montage. Yeah.
That's my
Okay.
Oh, good. Yeah. Who's how much later after the original is this going to have been made?
Well, I think that they're probably going to be in their late 20s, early 30s by the time they've trained and then tracked each other down. So what probably will be set just after the Second World War, maybe. So things are a bit tired. It's quite dark already.
So it would be like, so are the Three Amigos, are the Three Amigos in it?
Well, I did lie when I said my bits were Three Amigos heavy, because not really. We don't discover, because only 2 amigos come out of the desert at the end.
That's why I was going to ask you. You said there were 2 old guys, and obviously one's Ned. Who's the other one?
Well, we discover that when Tarantino directs his next movie. Is it Dusty? Who can say? Is it we don't know if it's Dusty. We don't know if it's Randy. Did I say Randy?
like a
I didn't mean
cliffhanger.
Randy. Lovely.
Randy.
Is it Randy Bottom, Lucky Bottom, or is it Dusty Bottom?
Lucky day, Dusty
I
Bottom.
know. So yeah, we don't know which one it is. We just know one of them is Ned. And then in the next movie, Quentin Tarantino can do that really cool thing where we like flash back in a sequence to see how, what happens to the third amigo and
Right,
which one it is that they lose.
Are you trying to capture a new Amigo audience with this, or do you think the other people are going to come and watch this? I'm just thinking about your box office, really.
I think that it's still got quite a niche following as the Three Amigos. So why not see whether Tarantino can give it a bit of extra,
Right?
like a bit of an extra fan base.
Sure.
Because who knows? Maybe we'll have a sequel to this one, and then Tarantino will remake the Three Amigos. You just don't know, do you?
No, you just don't know, really.
You don't.
I mean, I've not spoken to Tarantino for a few days, but he's on board. Do you know what
He's
I mean?
on board. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Right.
Great.
Okay.
Right.
Good. All right. Any more questions? Or I think that's pretty much self-explanatory.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay. Right. Nick, it's your turn then, please, for your sequel.
My sequel. So my sequel to the Three Amigos, which has had a prequel already called the Two Amigos. So there's the Two Amigos, the Three Amigos, and this film is going to be called the 19 Amigos. Right? And it's a latter day sequel, so it's filmed now. And we catch up with the Three Amigos, and they're no longer talking to each other. So we have Lucky Day, and so about this time, what would it be? So if the 80s was set in, when was the first one set? 1916, was it?
Oh God, yeah, I think so.
I don't know.
So if we go, it's 30 years later. So it would be like the 40s. So now you've got Lucky Day, and he is kind of like a B-movie science fiction actor. And he's the kind of guy that comes on with science fiction movies with wobbly sets, and they're very low budget. He's sort of like in Ed Wood movies.
Yeah.
And he's like the doctor, the scientist that smokes a pipe and does lots of exposition. But he's not really a big star anymore, but he's still sort of like chipping away, and he's there. And then you've got Dusty Bottoms, who is a game show host with sort of like the birth of television, and he kind of like does sort of like, I'm basing it sort of a little bit around the Marx Brothers, right? So you've got kind of like Dusty Bottoms is now, he's kind of like presenting kind of like a You Bet Your Life type game show.
Mm-hmm.
And he's an idiot, obviously. He's the thickest out of the bunch. And so you can get away with kind of like asking kind of questions. And you can have loads of Chevy Chase slapstick moments where he can't get the questions right. And he doesn't know what's going on. And the set is falling down around him. And then you've got Ned Nederlander, who still lives in Mexico. And he lives in Mexico with the lady that he met at the end of the first film. And because he's got like a very childish sensibility to him, he's sort of like opened up the equivalent of like a Mexican Disneyland, where he is kind of like, but it's like maybe he's taken over El Guapo's fort and he's turned it into kind of like a Disneyland type place where he's kind of like this local landowner / baron, and he's almost become like a childish version of what they fought against in the original. And each of the Three Amigos have a wife, and each of the Three Amigos have 3 children. And so there's 9 Amigo children. There's 3 Amigo wives. There's 3 Amigos. So now we're on to, that's 15 Amigos so far. And how many Amigos? What's the name of the film? 19
Amigos.
Yeah, and maybe Dusty Bottoms has got a couple of ex-wives, but he kept in contact with them, and they're all on board. They probably Rick Moranis is there as well. He's come out of retirement.
Wow!
He's their accountant, and he's come out of retirement, and he's kind of like, oh god, or maybe he's like a mega fan, or maybe that's it. You have a mega fan, he tries to get them all together, but they can't all get together, and Dusty Bottoms and Lucky Day have to team up with each other and go to Mexico, and they've got to do one last film. It's a belated sequel to their Amigo movies because there's interest in them, and they've basically got to come out of not retirement, but they've got to come out of Amigo retirement, cowboy retirement, and throw together a sequel, even though there's really no need for a sequel at this stage in their lives. It's kind of like postmodern.
Right. Okay. Wow. Very good. Very good. Okay.
Right.
And so, questions, Hannah and Nat.
I want to know if the film that they do when they're doing the kind of we're getting back together to do one last film.
There will be a montage.
There will be.
Oh, that's my question.
That was Nat's question. I
just wanted to just make sure that we're not wasting any time here, guys.
Yeah.
There's montages. Don't you worry about montages. That's taken care of.
Make a note of that.
I just want to know if the other Amigos, like all the wives and children, are they going to be in the film when they make the new film? Because really, they're Amigos too.
Well, what they realise, obviously, Hannah, I can't believe I got to actually explain it. Obviously,
come on.
Sorry, guys. I know everyone else is.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
right.
Some people are. It's not obvious for some people.
When they realise that they have difficulty going through the studio system, the whole families all team up and they become their own studio system, and they become their own sort of like independent film company.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry I didn't get that.
Oh, well,
you wasted your question, to be honest, Hannah. There, obvious stuff.
There was a lot of information there.
There was. Oh well. Nat, did you ask your montage thing, or do you want something else?
No, I have a different question. Believe it or not including montages. So, as you were talking, and I heard about the extended family groups, and we know that they can pull off a mean "My Little Buttercup" because we see it. What immediately sprung to mind was, at any point, is there a possibility that these people can create a Von Trapp style family group and become the next singing sensation and tour?
Well, you'd feel shortchanged if that didn't happen, wouldn't you?
I would.
I was kind of saving that as a surprise for when you see it in the cinema. But the ending is a big sort of show-stopping musical finale, where all of the families are singing to distract the local evil overlord, who isn't Ned anymore, and then they get one over on him and they save the day. But they use music, dance, and family to save the day.
Amazing.
Love it.
Yes,
cool.
Perfect.
Okay, lovely.
I'm in.
Lovely stuff.
Great.
Right then, excellent. Anna, it's your turn then, please, for your sequel.
How do I follow that?
Just go home,
Exactly.
Hannah. Just go home.
Bye. Okay, so mine, a bit like Nat's prequel, mine involves the bush.
Hey.
So my sequel is the singing bush has been singing non-stop his whole life, and he's starting to lose his voice. So he goes. I know. So he goes on. He goes on a quest to find another bush to make baby bushes with, so that their kids can carry on the family business. First, he goes on a date with a Christmas tree, but she's so covered in jingly-jangly decorations that he can't even hear if she has a good singing voice. His next date is with a pear tree. She's so sweet, and he really fancies her pear shape, but unfortunately, she's already in love with a fig tree, so he won't even give the singing bush a chance.
Oh.
The singing bush is so fed up, and he's about to give up on love. He goes to drown his sorrows in a bar and starts singing the theme tune from the TV show Monk. And the guy next to him at the bar starts joining in, and he has a beautiful singing voice. It's Gavin Rosdale from the band Bush. It's love at first sight, and the two bushes make love and make lots of baby singing bushes. The end.
Oh,
Ah, okay. Right. So, Nick and Nat, you can ask a question for Hannah there.
Well, this sounds like more like a midquel, like a Puss in Boots movie in between Shreks, as opposed to a real sequel. Do you know what I mean? It's like a spin-off rather than a. My question, which I can't believe I'm having to ask this so many times, are the Three Amigos in it? This is the third time.
I mean, you're not wrong. Yeah. Say these are sequels to Three Amigos. Yeah.
I mean, I did what I thought we were meant to do, which was make a sequel to the.
No, you bang on. You bang on, really.
Is it just me? Am I going crazy here? But no. I've included the actual Three Amigos in all of my film pictures so far.
Sometimes a sequel can see where the shining star was in the original film, and it'll just concentrate more on that character. And that's, for me, the Singing Bush was the star of the Three Amigos. So any sequel after that should be involving Singing Bush.
Crazy.
Well, can I redo mine then? My one's all about the tortoise that says "Goodnight, Ned," and it's like. The first one's about that when it's little, and the second one is about that when it's like 200 years old and it's really big.
Right. Okay.
If we're not going to take this seriously, then.
I'm sorry, Nick. If you don't agree with my thing, just don't vote me, okay?
Well, we'll find out. We'll find out now because it is fun. Unless there's anybody. Nat, did you ask a question then?
No, but I don't think I've really got any questions I need to ask. I think that's a pretty rounded
because it's so
idea.
Good.
We'll see.
No, I did have a very quick one. Will this be a musical?
Yes, it will, because the Singing Bush doesn't even know how to not sing. So every bit of dialogue that the Singing Bush does is in song.
Yeah.
And the music will also be written by Randy Newman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, amazing. Oh, hello.
Good.
And John Candy's in it. And
no, we're not buying that. No. We're not having that. Okay. You should have added candy in the original pitch. We're not accepting any candies after. Sorry. That's the new rule. It's in the book.
No candy questions.
It's in the rule book now, that. Right then, so let's do some voting. So let's do a quick recap. Nat's was Three Amigos Next Generation. They never returned to Mexico, but Ned and we didn't find a name. I feel sorry we didn't get a name because she's been prominent in two of these. They had a child together, him and his lady friend, which she's raising. And then the German woman of the wife of the pilot who was killed, she's having a baby as well. So the montage of these two ladies bringing up their children to be gunfighters, and they're out for revenge, basically. So it all takes place in a dusty square, which is El Guapo's old compound. And the rat to draw the guns, these two kids, and then two old men come up and stop the fight, and Ned holds his hands out and says, "Son." Then it ends. Yeah. Directed by Tarantino. Right. Nick's was the 19 Amigos. They're no longer talking to each other. They've all gone separate ways. Lucky Day's a B-movie actor, so Ed Wood-style films. Dusty Bottoms is a game show host, so he can do all his slapstick Chevy Chase stick. Ned lives in Mexico with the lady again who got mentioned, but we didn't find her name out. Ned has opened a kind of a Mexican-style Disneyland in El Guapo's fortress, his old fortress, and he's kind of like the baron of the land there. The Three Amigos have 3 kids each and 3 amigo wives each, and Dusty has some ex-amigo wives to fill in the rest of the head count, up to 19. Rick Moranis is in it, come out of retirement to be in it. Dusty and Lucky go to Mexico because they've decided they're going to make one last film together, last Amigo film together. Okay? Cool. All right. Hannah's was...
Sounds good. It sounds really good.
Hannah's was The Singing Bush. starts to lose its voice, so decides I'm going to go on a quest to find a lady bush so we can make more bushes. Wants to carry on the singing tradition, I guess. First of all, goes to a Christmas tree. It's too jingly jangly, can't hear it singing. I think that were right, wasn't it? Then goes to a pear tree, but it's in love with a fig tree, and it won't give the singing bush a chance at all.
Aww.
On a bitch. Then it goes to a bar, and here's a tree singing the. Was it a tree that's singing the theme from Monk?
The singing bush is singing the theme from Monk because Randy
Oh,
Newman
sorry.
sang that.
Right.
And then the person joins in, and that person is Gavin from the band Bush.
Right, got it. And they get together. Yeah.
Duh.
Right, sorry, yeah.
Get with it, Chris.
I know, sorry, I'm losing it now. Right, let's do some votes then. What are we thinking?
They're both so good. You two are both, your ones are so good. I'm finding it very tough. I think I'm going to go with Nat, just because when you were going on about the German man's family, it was really making me laugh because it was so kind of insignificant. But like the aftermath of that, it really made me laugh.
Nobody thinks about the families of the henchmen, Hannah. We all know this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think just because I want to see the Von Trapp style like number at the end, I'm going to go with Nick this time.
Yeah. God.
Although I did enjoy the idea of a musical bush searching for its soulmate.
I like the you see, I like a good revenge story, me. So I like the one with the kids. I like yours, Nat, with the kids. But I also like the 19 Amigos as well.
But you're going to go for the singing bush.
Yes, I'm going to go for the singing bush. I'm going to go for Nat's. I'm going to go for the revenge. The revenge one with the kids. Yeah.
And so I'm going to go for... Well, do you know what? When you said Three Amigos, The Next Generation, that hadn't even occurred to me. You know, when I was, thinking of my one. So maybe... But also I like the idea... I just think that Hannah's is more of like a spin-off than...
Yeah.
So like a... Do you know what I mean? If I wanted to see a Three Amigos movie, I'd kind of want there to be a continuation. So I'm going to go with Nat as well. Although, obviously, I think that's just like, once I've taken myself out of the equation, I'm going to vote for Nat. But it should be me. I think it's weird that you've all taken me out of the equation, but yeah, sure, fine.
It happens sometimes. Right, lovely. So... Nat, you're the winner of that round. Well done, you.
Thanks very much.
So, as we go into the final round, the Requel round, so we've got reboots, reimaginations, whatever you want to do with these. It's still all to play for. Nick won the first round. Nat won the second round. Can Hannah sweep the board with this third section? I don't know. Or are we going to have a clear winner? Here we go. Let's do this. So, Nick, we're going to go with you first this time, just to shake things up a bit.
Right. Well... I was thinking you could update it and you could have them all kind of like as stars of kind of like a Star Trek-esque TV series. And then they get taken into outer space and they have to do... But then I realised they already made that. It's called Galaxy Quest.
Yeah.
So then I thought what you could do is you could, instead of humans, you could do it kind of like... you do it like they're insects and they get... brought along to do something, they don't realise that it's real, and then they realise, oh no, but they did that, and it's called A Bug's Life.
Yeah, that's ripped off Three Amigos.
So then I thought what we could do is you could update it, and you could do it like they're making like a Vietnam War movie, but then they've done that, and it's called Tropic Thunder. So in a way, they've already rebooted the Three Amigos 3 times, if not more. So I think the best way to do it, which seems to be the most successful way to do it, is you take a beloved property and then you just recast it. So I think it should have Melissa McCarthy, Anne Hathaway, and Octavia Spencer in it. And they are the new Amigos. And it's exactly the same as the first film, but they just improvise it all.
Right, okay. All right.
Maybe there's a cameo for Steve Martin but
Right.
it'll be humiliating.
Yeah. They'd probably have him as El Guapo just for no reason whatsoever.
Sure, and he'll probably shit himself at some point.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Okay. So, Hannah and Nat, have you got a question for Nick on his reboot?
So it
Recast.
sounds very much like the Ghostbusters reboot with the women.
That's great, though, right?
Well, I think there's good performances in it. There's problems, but anyway.
We talk about Ghostbusters on here quite a lot. The reboot. Look, the script was awful. Them ladies are very funny in their own rights. They've made some good films, but let's clear it up. The script was terrible, wasn't it? Come on.
So I want to know.
Now.
I liked it.
I want to know. Is Paul Feig? I don't know if that's how you say that.
Yes.
Is he directing it?
It's a Paul.
It's a Paul Feig film.
Paul Feig joint.
This was made. This film. The timeline for this film would be about 2016. So I think he would have made this rather than Ghostbusters. So
okay. I like
I'm green lighting it then.
I just don't think. I don't think they're trusting with a franchise like this now.
No.
But like at the time, yes, it's a Paul Feig directed reboot of the Three Amigos.
Okay.
Well, you've sort of answered my question already, or Chris did, because I wanted to know who you were going to be casting as El Guapo, but then Chris mentioned that might be Steve Martin.
It might be Steve Martin.
Don't take my word for it. I'm not the casting director. This is all yours, Nick.
It wouldn't be Chevy Chase, would it? Because I don't think that anyone would let him onto a film set now.
No.
This is 2016 then you were making this one?
2016 I'm making it.
I'm gonna have cameos from them because that's like in Ghostbusters, they're all in it, aren't they? All the alive ones.
Yeah, all right. So Chevy Chase is driving a cab at the beginning. Doesn't really have any lines. Steve Martin is El Guapo, but he doesn't really have any lines and he shits himself. Martin Short, maybe he plays the Invisible Swordsman this time.
Okay,
Right.
brilliant. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Cool.
What do we think? Yeah?
I'd watch it.
It's interesting. It's an interesting version. Yeah. Okay. Right, let's move on then. Hannah, it's your turn, please, for your Requel.
Oh, it's good. It's serious.
It's gonna be good.
Oh, boy.
Clearing the throat. Here we go.
Okay, mine has improv in it too. An amateur improv troupe consisting of 3 women from Saturday Night Live
That's a really good idea.
can't get a gig without having to pay to play. So they start doing their improv act on the streets of New York and hope that passers-by will be so impressed that they'll give them some money or give them a show. Meanwhile, a man is being hunted down by a killer gang, and as he runs past the improv troupe, they're improvising a sketch about being undercover cops, and he thinks they actually are undercover cops. So he says, "You women are exactly what I've been looking for. I've got a job for you." Well, the improv troupe think they've got a gig, so they follow the man. They're led to an alleyway where the gang is waiting for them. They thought, that's a strange gig venue, but a gig's a gig. So they start improvising about being cops again, and the gang think they're such bad improvisers that it makes them realize that they need to get proper jobs and avoid living as embarrassing a life as this improv troupe. So they all give up crime and become upstanding members of society.
Wow. All right. Okay. It's a lot to unpack. Right. Go on. Questions, Nick and Nat. I've got one.
So do we have like a resolution to the end of the improver story at the end of it?
Yeah.
Was it the gang getting the proper jobs or the improv or both of them?
No, the gang decided to not be criminals anymore because they're like, I don't want to end up like these losers, the improv troupe.
Right, yeah.
And the improv troupe don't get killed by the gang because the gang no longer want to kill anyone.
Right.
And they have newfound confidence because they got given the gig. So they start doing a TikTok, and then they become viral.
Right. Okay, that's good. All right. That's
good.
fine.
It does feel like it's missing maybe a middle act, but sure. I'm sure
my work, Nick.
I'm sure they can make it all up on the spot when they
exactly. They're improvisers.
Oh that'll be the 80 minutes of improvisation in the middle of the film, won't it? Yeah.
I think that's a really good idea, because I was trying to work out how you'd do a modern version that was also a 1900s Western. And then the first thing you've done is you've gone, no, it's not that. It's something else. So there you go. I think that's you thought of something that I didn't think of.
I'm a genius.
No, because a lot of the really good stuff is so the same as what I came up with as well. So
I've got a question, Hannah. What's the name of the improvisation troupe in the movie?
That's where it comes in, right?
They're called. I'm so good at improvising. I can't think of it. They're called the Rice Girls.
The Rice Girls. Yes. And at one point, one of them says, "Why don't we call ourselves the Three Amigos?" And someone else says, "That name's rubbish. Let's call ourselves the Rice Girls." And then they go, "Yeah, right."
And all the Three Amigos fans go, "What are you doing?"
A little tip of the hat.
Yeah, they all go mad. Right, okay. Nat, it's your turn for your Requel then.
Okay.
Let's do this. Here we go.
All right. So the one thing that struck me whilst watching the Three Amigos, because I hadn't seen it for a very long time, was the absolute abundance of chickens. They were everywhere. Every time a big scene where everyone is riding through or out of El Guapo or Santa Poco, there was just chickens everywhere, flying in all directions. So I thought, right, I think this needs to be an animated remake from the point of view of the chickens. Oh. Because frankly, right, they're everywhere. They just spend their lives dodging hooves of either the Three Amigos or the bandits. And I just feel like their story needs to be told. So how about, whilst the villagers are being threatened by El Guapo and his bandits, how about the chickens are also being threatened by El Guapo's chickens? So we sort of see the story paralleled, but in the world of chickens. That's my reboot. Yeah,
that's a good idea. Can I change my idea?
Does it involve chickens?
Maybe.
Or geese?
I think I've never noticed the chickens, but that must be because it's sort of like a free special effect. Do you know what I mean? If you put chickens and there's horses and the chickens fly out of the way, it's visually interesting, but they haven't really spent that much money on it.
It's like John Woo, but with chickens. That the whole film.
Yeah, sorry. Absolutely. Yeah, with that. Yeah, instead of the doves. I was thinking what you could do is the town is Santa Poco, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
But what you could do is you could tell it from the point of view of the female villagers, right? There's three female villagers who all end up with an amigo in the original. So instead you have kind of like, you see it from the point of view of the village where they're like in desperate need of help. And then these three Hollywood guys come along and they're useless. And in actual fact, they put them in more danger and they all get caught by El Guapo. And then you have the three female villagers who all have to team together and get the villagers.
This is your new idea.
This is my new idea. And they all get the villagers in check. And then they go and rescue the Three Amigos. And it's kind of like exactly like the original, but told from another point of view.
So you swapping in your reboot, the improv reboot for that?
I put very little thought into this whole show, guys. I think it's only fair that my first, to be honest, and I put little thought into everything, and I put the least amount of thought into the redo because I was just
That's usually what happens. People give up by the reboots anyway, so I'm amazed that these two have done a good one.
But you've got 4 ideas out of the 3 there, so that's not bad.
Yeah.
All right.
I've got a question.
Go on.
For Nat. So, who's animating it? Is it like a Nick Park style, like Chicken
Yeah,
Run?
you know what? It's the second I thought about it, I wanted it to be an Aardman Animations, Nick
Yeah.
Park.
And they've
stop
already got
motion.
the puppets, haven't they? So
Exactly.
Yeah,
they
just
can
yeah.
reuse them.
reuse
Yeah.
them.
Exactly.
I also
100%.
think,
And then we can use the original actors to voice it as well, which I would like.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's good thinking.
yeah, that's good. Yeah.
I think that normally I'm dead against reboots, but I think in the case of any Steve Martin property, you should be allowed to reboot anything you want, because he rebooted Pink Panther and Sergeant Bilko very badly. So he doesn't really show much regard to previous versions, does he? So you can do whatever you like to any Steve Martin film.
Yeah.
Right. Cool. Okay.
Yes, please.
Right then. Let's.
Just
Is there
saying.
any more questions? Any more questions for Nat?
No, it's self-explanatory. It's got chickens in it. It's great.
Right. Okay. It's time to vote. I'm not going to even attempt to do a recap.
What would it be called? What would it be called?
Oh.
This is the only one that I haven't thought of beforehand, thought of a title for. But I think I didn't really think I needed one because I wanted to continue calling it the Three Amigos. But maybe it should be something like more like the Three Chiquitos or something.
Oh.
Because it's also kind of got a Spanish flavour.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
And would the chickens
Yeah.
would the chickens have a Spanish flavour? Yeah.
Yeah. All
There's
right.
peri peri sauce in there.
Okay.
Maybe
Cool.
Peri
Right.
Chicken.
Right. Let's do some voting. I don't know if I can recap these ones because they're all over the place.
Well, a couple of them are.
So
Why don't you start with me and then?
well, you've just changed yours. So right, your original one. Let's do this first. Was it was a recast with Melissa McCarthy, Anne Hathaway, and Octavia Spencer. Is that right?
Yeah.
With a cameo by Steve Martin playing El Guapo, potentially, because
Speaking
everything
himself.
else has been done. Star Trek was Galaxy Quest, Insects was Bug Life, Vietnam was Tropic Thunder. There we go. You're going to have to tell me your other idea again because I didn't write it down.
It was just a retelling of the Three Amigos story from the point of view of the villagers as they all teamed together. The Mexican villagers all teamed together in order to save these three white male letdowns who've turned up
Right.
and instantly let themselves down. And I think in the original remake version that I had, Steve Martin shat himself at some point. I think they should all shit themselves. All three of them should turn up and shit themselves instantly. So we really know how pathetic these guys are. And then
And it's called the Shit Amigos.
it's called, well, either we call it that or they're going to call it that. It's,
yeah.
I think we should beat them to it.
Yeah,
So
the
we'll call
Paul
it-
Feig money.
We'll call it. I think we call it the Three Amigos. Yes, or the Three Senoritas.
Change it again. Right, okay.
Any film that's good.
Oh dear.
Whatever makes the most amount of money at the box office,
Yes.
everyone leaves happy with.
Right, okay. That's your pitch. So remember that one. Okay. Hannah, yours was an improv troupe. Can't get any gigs or any work because they're rubbish. Or are they rubbish? You didn't say they were rubbish, did you?
Yeah, I think they are.
Yeah,
It's
they're terrible.
insinuated that they're rubbish.
Yeah. So they're working on the streets of New York, and then a man's being hunted by a gang, and he runs past them and sees that they're playing cops, but he doesn't know they're playing cops. He's like, hey, these cops are great. I need these to come and sort this gang out. So they go into an alleyway, and then they realise it's all real, like in the Three Amigos. And then the gang says, these are terrible. We're going to go get proper jobs.
Yes.
Good. Nat, too many chickens in Three Amigos. So animated remake from the chicken's point of view. And it also has El Guapo's chickens as well, so there's a big chicken off.
Yeah.
Right then, let's do some
Or I've got two more ideas.
two more ideas.
Well, you call it the Three Amiibos, and it's about three amoebas, and it's animated, but it's CGI. And three amoebas, they go into, they're like, what do you call it? They're a placebo. Yeah,
Right.
they're like a placebo drug that get injected into the body, and all of the body viruses, like you go, oh no, there's this cure, and we're all going to get wiped out, and then they realise, oh no, it's not a real cure, it's a placebo, and then the placebo that's amoeba-sized has to learn how to. That's one idea. Yeah, only. And then
I like it because it sounds a bit like Inner Space, and then you could have Martin Short be the body that the placebos go into.
Yes,
Do you know,
absolutely, absolutely.
We've never done Inner Space on this show. We keep overlooking it. It needs to be done on this show eventually.
Does need to be
Anyway,
done, yeah.
great film.
A great name for a sequel to Inner Space.
Oh, save it. What's your other idea? You said you had one more.
It's called Outer Space. My other idea is called the Three Amigos, right? But instead of cowboy films, it's superhero films,
Right.
and you can just imagine. Eh?
So
I
they
almost
think
feel-
superheroes are coming to save them, but they haven't got any superpowers at all.
It's the same film as all of the other films, but it's superheroes because they're popular now.
Okay. All right.
Any questions on those?
No, not on them. No,
I'm just basically I'm saying, guys, if you vote for me, you get 5 movies. Yeah?
5 movies in one, and you can make them on the same budget as one Paul Feig film.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Let's do some voting then. Come on, let's do it. Let's have a look. So 5 films in one.
It's called the Three Amigos.
See, I really liked Hannah's, but I'm a bit worried about the ending of Hannah's. That's the only thing that worries me.
Together.
The proper jobs bit.
Yeah.
But then,
I feel like
I think that she's only pitching at this stage, and we can always reshoot the ending.
We can do some market research about what would be a better ending. Nat, there's
get
room
some
to
test
change.
audiences. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think I'm going to vote for Hannah then.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to vote for Hannah as well. I actually like what you did with the modern twist on it, you know, bringing it up to date and doing that thing, because it is tricky. You think, oh, what could you do similar modern thing? Yeah, go on then. Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is bullshit, actually. I think something really rather underhand is happening. I'm not really.
If yours had been 4 movies in one, I think my studio head were on. I'm like, I can't fund 5 movies in one go. Who's this maverick director who's coming in that we're just going to have to...
Let him worry about the budget, mate.
I can't trust Paul Feig to do 5 movies. No, I just can't.
Who did you vote for?
I voted for Hannah.
Yeah. And who did Hannah vote for?
I haven't voted yet.
Ooh. I think this is getting tactical.
It's getting tense.
I'm gonna write down who I'm voting for.
And hold it up at the same time as Hannah does hers.
I'm gonna hold it up.
So.
After Hannah's said it.
Okay, I find both your million ideas and your chicken idea.
4 or 5 ideas, not a million. Come on.
I mean, I kind of
not a million amigos.
After 2, I am going to go for chicken because I like recycling, and we're recycling the chicken puppets.
Wow. It's an interesting reason.
Great.
You're trying to save Adman Animation some money.
Yeah, because Nick's ones waste so much money. He's doing 5 films, and at the end of the day, people
don't waste money. You don't know how many corners I'm going to cut to get these films made.
It's not going to be as cheap as
actors are going to die, Hannah. That's how many corners.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, sorry, Nick.
Oh, isn't that nice? Look at that. Right then.
Oh, no, sorry. I misspelled Nick.
Well, she'd have won anyway. She'd have won anyway, even if you just misspelled and put your name. Right then, so Hannah has won that round, which means, believe it or not, I can't believe this. You've all won your own. You've all run a round basically, so you're all winners. You're all winners this evening, and I'm the only loser in the room.
Didn't want to say anything, but
I am. No, but that's the end of the show. Thank you so much, guys, for being here and joining in. Thanks to Nick. Thanks to Nat. Thanks to Hannah for coming around. Let's do some coming round. You come out of mine. Show. Thanks, guys. Right, let's do some plugs. Nick, what would you like to tell everybody and plug while you're here? What have you got to tell us? Web pages, social media, anything like that you want people to look at your stuff on?
I'm on Prequel, Sequel, Requel. Want everyone to tune into that. And I do a weekly radio show about films. It's a podcast called Nick and Nat's Fan Club. So I guess yeah.
Awesome. So check that out. Lovely stuff there. Nat, what have you got for us? Have you got anything to plug?
well, it's the Discount Comedy Checkout, isn't it? We're back on the road. We're gigging again. Go to the Comedy Checkout's website and see where we are next. Coming to a town near you. You
and have you done your YouTube channel yet? No?
No, nothing has happened with that. But also, yeah, look at the podcast too, Discount Comedy Checkout podcast on any of your streaming services. It's marvellous.
Cool. Lovely. Hannah, what have you got for us?
I haven't got anything really, but follow me on Twitter at Hannah Warman, or subscribe to my YouTube Hannah Warman stuff if you want to.
Lovely stuff. Excellent. We've got to say a quick thanks to PBH Free Fringe at the Edinburgh Festival for putting this on all their media, I guess. Check out the other shows at the Fringe as well that are online, and if you're there in person, check those out as well. So yeah, thanks guys for coming on this today. Lovely to have you all. Thank you very much. It's been a bit of fun for us. Tune into this show again, keep watching it. We've done about 50 odd episodes, I think, so far. Yeah, crazy. But that's it from us. Let's say goodbye to everybody. Thanks for watching, and
Thank you very much.